All right, let's move to gig work. Who here knows what I mean when I say gig work? Yeah, okay, let me get into this. Yeah, thanks, Jeffrey. So I know you know. um, if you drive for Uber, what I really mean to say is any job that can be broken down into a task that you could do as much or as little of as you want is a gig, right? Um, Uber and sort of like if you own your own car, become a taxi driver, I think was the first like really, purely digital application of this idea, but it now exists in many industries. It also exists in field data collection. That's what we do at Premise, but we're not the only ones that are applying this concept to use cases in this domain, right? So because there are people in the community that would be interested in doing enumeration work and have a phone and would like to add, supplement their livelihood strategy, it's become possible to apply this concept for different humanitarian needs. I think the most successful by far has been market monitoring, both, for food price and availability in support of famine early warning, IPC classifications, those types of use cases, but also in support of cash and voucher related assistance because there's a need to monitor both the availability of products you assume people will spend their cash on, set the level for the cash transfer, and then of course, try to understand whether you're causing localized inflation. But reporting on the price and availability of goods is something an ordinary citizen with no training can do, provided you set up, your app and your survey and your quality controls in a way that makes sense. It's also very useful for, what I would call as a category operational data collection, meaning going to a place to observe what is happening there. So let's use health, for example. If you wanted to do a health-related assessment, you would probably want household survey data to understand the household's access to treatment and care, access to medicines, barriers to that access, et cetera. But you would also probably want to visit some healthcare facilities and understand, let's say it's Myanmar again and it's following an earthquake, are healthcare facilities still functioning? Have they had to change what they're offering? Have they had to change their hours, right? That's data that can be collected by an ordinary citizen as well. It can be done at schools, it can be done at wash facilities, and it can also be done to really validate, I think, some of the inferences we've been making about damage to critical infrastructure from satellite imagery, but that needs to be ground truthed by somebody. It can also, once you start to roll out digital training, be done for interview-based data collection.